and welcome back to another edition of the show. It is episode 292, and I'm joined once again by Kyle Klingman from Cedar Falls, Iowa. And Kyle, you were at a trifecta of wrestling events this weekend, maybe?
I was. Folkstyle Nationals, high school recruiting showcase, and then they added on Bill Farrell, which was supposed to be in New York. They put it to Cedar Falls, Iowa. So I had 3 tournaments in one location, so I hit the jackpot.
Awesome. Anything stand out to you from any of those tournaments?
Yeah. People would come up to me and say, "You are so lucky to work with Mark Bader." And it's interesting that he won't let you wear a neck gaiter, but he can wear sunglasses sometimes. I said, I know, I deal with it all the time. So that was one interesting tidbit. So
I was more along the lines of the wrestling matches.
the wrestling. I thought the Anthony Ashnault match with Tyler Berger was fantastic, 6-6. He talked about the influence of James Green and Jordan Burroughs on him. Chance Marsteller talking about 2 years of sobriety in his interview. He really opened up about it. That stood out. So those are a couple things. The women's field wasn't as deep. There weren't as many matches there. Kind of disappointed we didn't have a larger women's field. But I think across the board it was down as far as participation. But some good wrestling nonetheless.
Yeah, well, freestyle season's here. I'm excited about that. Bill Farrell just finished U.S. Open. World Team Trials, Last Chance, Final X, everything on the horizon. But I want to bring on today's guest. He's the head coach at Northwestern. It's Matt Storniolo. Matt, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Bader. How are you?
Man, any better, I'd be you. Hey, but congrats on a strong finish, right? 6th place as a team at the NCAA championship. You brought home a national champion. What'd you guys finish at Big Tens? Was it even top 6?
We finished 5th. We should have been 4th. We had a team point taken away. But yeah, 5th.
Was it a headgear? Was it yelling? Was it
a little extracurricular conversation with beneficial?
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah.
Okay. Going into the NCAAs, did 6th place seem? Did you guys have like a goal? Was to get a trophy, to get top 10, to do X?
Yeah, trophy, right? And that was the goal, and that's a message that we had been pounding into our team since they came on campus, end of the summer, early fall. Was this is a team with potential to bring home some hardware, and just kept pounding that message in all season. I think once we got into a good rhythm towards the end of January. Had a little bit of a COVID bug coming back from Christmas, missing a couple of guys for a few matches coming back starting the Big Ten season. And then we hit our stride. End of January, started firing on all cylinders. Didn't lose any duels the second half of the season. Once we got to the end of January, we went on a 5-0 run, had good momentum going into the Big Ten tournament. And then, came away with 5th place, wrestled well enough to take 4th, and messaged the team on the bus coming home was like, hey, you just did something special. That's awesome. Celebrate it right now, but tomorrow turn the page, and it's all eyes, all focus on NCAAs, and kind of went through how comparative Big Ten finishes are to NCAA finishes. As an assistant coach here, I had 2 seasons where we finished 9th at the Big Ten tournament, 9th at the NCAA tournament. And so I took them through that and said, listen, scoreboard said 5th place. You guys wrestled to 4th place at this event. Like, we can be a top 4 tournament team. It happens. And we almost did it. We were right there.
Yeah. And you've had some success over the past few years. You haven't quite had the trophy, but you're not all that far off. So it seems like you're having success and you're wrestling well at the end of the year. Are you doing, to give away what you're doing, but are you doing the same kind of things to peak or periodization? Are you doing the similar things with training and physical and mental side of things as you close down the
pretty
stretch?
Similar. Some things, they work. We keep the same. There were a couple of adjustments that I made this season. Training calendar looked a little bit different, but it was also a different year. The summer calendar last year was kind of nuts for freestyle, with everything getting canceled with COVID, having Olympics, Worlds. Like, it was like the summer that just wrestling kept happening, right? It was going all the way through September. So we had a good core group of guys that were still training for events, and they needed training partners. So a lot of the guys stuck around all summer and trained throughout. With that being the case, probably dialed it back a little bit more in certain times this year than other years, just to make sure that we didn't have a bunch of burnout, beat up guys come second half of the season.
I feel like at the trend I hear more of is like pulling it back, like it's almost like wrestling was working too hard, and like most teams in general, like it's okay. Or probably you can take a few days off. You're not going to fall out of shape. You train like freaking
Right.
animals. And do you feel like that's a trend you're seeing happen a little bit more?
I think coaches are getting a little bit smarter.
Yeah,
It used to be like harder, right? And I
yeah.
think now might be smarter, not just harder.
Have, I mean, have you noticed yourself doing that, or was that with other coaches you've coached with over the years?
Have I noticed myself doing it? I think I've always had a pretty good sense of like, pulling it back.
Hmm.
Jack Spates, Oklahoma, he got us ready for March.
Yeah,
We were a team that we turned it on the end of the year, every year. And so he was pretty big on that end of the year taper. Now, a little bit different of a situation with how the freestyle circuit was this past summer. So kind of have to take what you learned and apply it to different situations. But I think I've always been conscious of that, but probably had to be a little bit more so given guys training calendar this past summer.
sure. We'll talk about Ryan Deacon, right? He it seems like finally got it done. I only say that because
Yep.
he's seemingly been capable or right there since
Right.
he got on the scene, right? He's been like, just hasn't quite done it. How'd you feel coming
Yep.
into this tournament for him, with him?
Oh man, I was a ball of nerves for him. And I think I probably needed Ryan to win that NCAA title for him, but more than he needed it for him. He's just such a special human that win an NCAA title, not win an NCAA title, he set himself up so well, and he's such a well-rounded individual, and he realizes that there's more to him than just wrestling. So I think he would have been okay. I think I might have been worse off than he was, but yeah, I don't think there's anybody that deserved to win an NCAA title more than Ryan Deacon. Just with potential, work ethic, attitude, karma. I mean, the kid, he deserved it.
Sure. I don't know. I'm not right on the map, but once you guys got to get in the back and have a conversation or embrace or whatever, what do you remember? What was said? Anything you care to share?
Um, it just elevated mood, right? And
Yeah.
a lot of it wasn't even like specific things. I can just remember there's like a picture of Ryan sitting in the locker room. He's eating something and he's just got this little grin on his face. You could see what it meant to him. You could see it as the clock was ticking down, right? He's on top, 15 seconds left, and he's up by 7 points or whatever. So like the match is over at that point. And it was a special moment watching him get to actually soak it in, right? It's not like a 1 point match where you're trying to keep the guy off your legs for the last 20 seconds. Like he got to close it out on top, soak it in, and couldn't be happier for him.
Sure. You just described kind of what things are like from his perspective. Talk about yours, whether it's this or I know you've coached Surstis and you've coached other finalists. Like, what's it like being on that stage on Saturday night? And is it wrestler to wrestler, or are you going to be a ball of nerves, kind of like that, regardless?
Yeah, I think you're going to be nervous no matter who it is in the national finals. Like, no matter how big of a favorite you have, anything can happen in the national finals, right? We've seen it so many times. So yeah, it's national finals can do weird things to people. Some guys wrestle out of their skin. Some guys ball up a little bit. So you don't really know what you're going to get. Now Ryan's wrestled in some big time events before, and he's been on the big stage, but he hasn't been on that stage. And he did great. I think the match was set up, or the way it went, Monday getting the first takedown, that was a recipe for potential disaster, right? Ryan gives up early takedown. biggest fear there is like he starts to over wrestle, tries to score points too fast because he's down and gets a little anxious, and he stayed cool as a cucumber, just kept chipping away. And, eventually he was going to get his takedown. Worked out that he got his takedown, picked up some back points along with it. But, man, that was a tangent. But yes, nervous for all of them. I think pretty nice that I get my first national champ as a head coach with it being Ryan Deacon, who came in with that first recruiting class.
Yeah. And he's I would assume, I guess I won't assume, what are his plans for this spring in freestyle, if you know?
Yep. Not going to wrestle at the Open because he's qualified for the trials. So I think he's training right now. He's getting back in the training swing and seeing with the trials.
You're going to have any other Wildcats either at the Open or wrestling in any age group freestyle?
Yeah. We'll have a decent little cohort out there. Yaya Thomas, Lucas Davison going to the Open. Maybe one or two other guys. A couple of guys are a little beat up from NCAA, so seeing where they fall here in the next week or two health wise, if they're going to jump into the senior level circuit. And then we've got three younger guys that'll be going in the 20 and unders, a couple of red shirts there with Evan Bates, Aiden Vandenbush, and Joel Vandenbeer. So I think a couple of those guys are going to make some noise. All
right. And I guess this would probably be more world team trials talk about 70 kilos, right? Ryan's weight class. 70 is like off the charts. Nobody's sitting out. Nobody's qualified for Final X. So you're going to have Deacon, James Green, Pantaleo, Zane Rutherford, Jordan Oliver. There's 5 hammers. I'm sure there's somebody else I'm leaving off. But thoughts on 70 kilos and where Ryan falls in there?
You got to feel good about it. You look back to the trials in September of this past year, and Ryan, all those guys were there, right? Yeah. All those guys were in the bracket. Ryan put together a great run up to the finals and really wrestled really well in those final matches, just didn't close them out. He had both those matches won against James Green. So, one or two adjustments there in short time, and he's your 2021 world team member. So you got to feel good about his chances going into it this year. Year older, year experience, year more experience under the belt. And then now getting that NCAA monkey off his back, that's going to do nothing but add confidence to him, put another feather in his cap. So gotta feel good about Ryan Deacon.
Sure. For you as a coach, right? Compare the collegiate NCAA season versus the freestyle season, and probably a little bit more lax, I would think, and just in general. But I don't know. That's why I asked.
Yeah, no, I think it's a mindset shift, right? Mm-hmm. You go from high stress, making weight every week, multiple times a week, to a little bit more relaxed. I think guys have a little bit more fun with it. Don't carry that same pressure with them, and feel like they can go out there and just let it loose, let it fly. So definitely feel a different vibe coming from the guys as you get into freestyle season as opposed to the folk style season.
Sure. And I want to kind of look ahead even further towards the end of the year and maybe look back to the last 2 years. The Midlands Championship got canceled. Yep. But it is coming back, right?
It is coming back. Yep.
And I guess just kind of tell me what's happened the last couple of years and what the plans are for this year.
Yeah. So a couple of things. One, 2 years ago, Midlands got canceled, but every single open tournament, there were no tournaments 2 years ago. Everything got canceled except for interconference schedules. Yeah. So 2 years ago, non-factor. This past year, okay, yeah, Midlands got canceled and it sucked, right? But it didn't suck any worse for anyone else other than Northwestern Wrestling. And that's for a lot of different reasons. One, that is our biggest fundraiser of the year. That is instrumental to our success. We need that money. Talked at NCAAs about us being on a shoestring budget. And so any dollar amount is important to us when it's coming, especially one that's as high sticker price as Midlands. Two, talk about the competitive aspect that we lost. That was one of our two main marquee opportunities to get quality wins, climb the rankings, boost your RPI. Like, you see good opponents at the Midlands tournament. We didn't get to do that. And so we pivoted, right? We hosted a tri-meet at Northwestern, which we caught some slack for. But like, my job as a coach is to make the best I can of a situation for my team. And we wanted to compete at Midlands. That wasn't a Northwestern wrestling decision that we couldn't have the event. That was an administrative decision. And I understand why they felt like they had to make that call. Doesn't make it any less detrimental to us, but it happened. So now, what can you do? All right, school didn't feel comfortable having 30 some teams with 400 some competitors and another couple hundred coaches coming from all different areas of the country right after going home for the holidays, as Omicron is breaking out and spiking. So it was about salvaging something for the team. And the administration was comfortable with us having 2 teams come in, where it's a little bit more controlled of an environment. Everybody's testing before they come in. Like, okay, so that's what we did. But some people smelt blood in the water, I guess. And so Iowa Sports Commission is essentially trying to poach our tournament, poach our dates. There's an email that got sent out to, I don't know if it was just coaches that come to Midlands or if it's all the coaches in Division I, but expressing their opinion that, Midlands has canceled its event the last 2 years. Again, really it's 1 year. That they don't think we have a desire to run the tournament anymore, which isn't true. Like, we have a desire, we have a need to run that tournament. And I don't know. I think it's kind of classless for somebody to come in and try to poach our event like that when Midlands has been good to the sport of wrestling. There are a lot of historical moments that have happened at the Midlands tournament. And so we're hoping that everybody realizes that it's been a great event. We've been good to the sport of wrestling. Hopefully the sport of wrestling is good to Midlands, and everybody that participated in the past is coming back. I know that Tim Szaszewski has been on the phone with everybody. He's been getting really positive feedback from the programs that we've reached out to about coming back to Midlands for this next year. But we're a go. We are hosting the tournament. And another thing I think is important that people don't realize about this past year was, like, our name wasn't on the Mat Men Open, but that was our tournament, right? Like, all those teams that came and competed there, they were coming to the Midlands, and the Midlands gets canceled, and they're in a tough spot, right? They still have flights booked. They're losing a day to competition. And then you had some people come in from the outside and expressed interest in taking over the event, trying to run Midlands. Now, there are a couple of things that go into that. One, we own the dates at the Sears Center, right? We have a $60,000 deposit that we have in on the event, reserves those dates. Like, we own the dates. So Illinois Mat Men, Rockfin come in, they want to host the event, but they're told, like, well, Northwestern owns the dates. So now it fell onto us. It's like, okay, what does Northwestern Wrestling want to do? We could say, sorry guys, can't have a tournament. We could say, all right guys, you could buy the dates from us. They cost us $60,000. We're going to lose that money. If you want to host the event, give us $60,000. Or we could just get out of the way and take the hit. And we made the decision that we were going to get out of the way and take the hit. We wanted to do what was best for college wrestling and do right by the teams that were still wanting to come and compete. Teams like UPenn or Army, like, it's not their fault that the event got canceled. They want to wrestle. Just because we can't wrestle at it doesn't mean they shouldn't be able to go to an event. So yeah, we turned the event over free of cost. We took a $60,000 hit. We even had our mats in the arena. We let everybody use our mats. Like, and people were still mad at Northwestern. I'm like, how can you be mad at North? This sucks for us. Like, we're sitting here watching our tournament happen without getting to participate in it, without getting any of the money, and just essentially footing the bill for somebody else to host the event.
So everything, the tournament was in the same place you guys had. It was on the mats that you guys set up. And you
Yeah,
paid
they
for
had to
it.
bring in one. They did have to bring in one mat because we had to get our dual meet mat back and bring it so that we could wrestle
Yeah,
at
you're
home
doing
in
me.
the tri meet.
But you paid for it all.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah,
don't know if
well, the
everybody,
wrestling community, they again, like those teams,
I don't think
they didn't
people
do
realize
anything.
that. 'Cause I didn't realize that. I didn't know
No,
that.
I mean, because how, like, what was I going to do? Like, get on Twitter and be like, by the way, everybody,
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody's killing us. They're bashing us. I was hiding in a hole.
I feel like people. I feel like. Do you ever feel like you guys are underappreciated? I feel like you feel like that.
Yeah, I gave a whole interview with you about it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I thought. So what are the dates for
29th
Midlands?
and 30th, same as every year.
It is same as every year. Same place.
Same place, same
Hoffman
time.
Estates.
Yep.
Okay.
Now Arena, formerly the Sears Center.
What's it called now?
Now Arena.
Now NOW.
Now NOW.
Is that a company? It's just
Or don't ask me questions, baby. Wrestling. Let's stick to wrestling.
Okay, show me a duck under. Nice. Klingman, what are you thinking? You're sitting over there all quiet. He's taking all this in.
I love the Midlands, man. There's a magic to the tournament, tons of history. You could go down the line. They toyed with rules at times. I know they did one where I think they said the first wrestler to a certain score would win the match. They tried to go without writing time with matches. I mean, they were innovative, creative, and it's one of the tournaments that has actually been part of the wrestling narrative and pushed the wrestling narrative. So glad to hear that it's back on.
Yeah, it's back on. We're gonna hopefully, well, not hopefully, because like it's not getting canceled this year, right? Like nobody's wearing masks anymore. We're past this, knock on wood. But gonna have the women's division next year, like we were planning on having this year. Looking forward to giving them a major platform to compete on alongside Division One wrestling, men's wrestling. They've never had that opportunity before, so a lot of exciting things in the works. It's going to be a great event. We're going to do things that we've never done before with it, and yeah, everybody come back.
Not that there's anything in specific, but would you be open to the idea of tinkering around with some of these potential rule changes and such?
You can't anymore because they won't count towards NCAA win counts, right? So the days of kind of having some fun stuff like that, you can't really do it anymore because if you don't have riding time, if you don't have the same rule set, those matches don't count towards seeding criteria, RPI, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. What about getting post-collegiate wrestlers like they used to have?
Yeah, it's just a little bit tougher now than it has been in the past. We had a couple of guys that were signed up for this year. Guys just focus a little bit more on freestyle now. But every once in a while, you get those guys that come out. We did have a couple of post grads that were signing up.
Yeah, if Kyle Klingman,
you want in, Bader?
I mean, I was gonna offer up Kyle, but yeah, I'll dust off the shoes. Yeah, let's go.
There are years that Midlands was tougher than the NCAA championships. There were times it was.
Give me some of the biggest memories. I'm sure you've been to Midlands. If not, I know you know probably every result that ever happened. What are some intriguing ones that stand out in your memory?
When you say that, the first one that comes to mind for me was when Cale Sanderson won his fourth and final Midlands with a 5-3 win over Lee Fullhart. I just remember that. It was such a good moment because Lee Fullhart was post-collegiate and coming back. I think about Lenny Zaleski beating Leroy Smith when Leroy Smith was a postgraduate. Barry Davis never won Midlands when he was in college, so it was like his Achilles heel. He just couldn't get it until he graduated. So it's there's tons of stuff that happens there that live on and really have changed the course of wrestling history. It was Dan Gable's favorite tournament. He won 6 of them. So the list goes on and on with that tournament.
You know, I went to two or three, maybe 4. But Matt, you were involved in this. One of the biggest memories for me was Sebastian Rivera, his like breakout match against Spencer Lee. And you even said to me before the finals, you're like, dude, I think we can beat this guy. I'm like, every coach says like has this confidence in their kid, but I'm like, Matt, you're like, okay, I think maybe he can, and sure enough, freaking did it. That's pretty
He did it.
impressive.
They wrestled a great match, and then backed it up and beat him again at Big Tens.
Yeah, yeah. Awesomeness, awesome stuff though.
Yeah.
But
All right, we're kind.
how about Jordan Burroughs, Andrew Howe? Jordan Burroughs, Andrew
that
Howe.
was a battle.
Name
That
that
was
year.
one that comes to my mind.
Yeah.
2009. No. 2008, because it was
I thought it was 2010.
2008, I think.
Because I thought it was 10, and then that spring Jordan went on that run.
I think you are right.
Yeah.
I'm just older. I'm older than I'd like to think.
Yeah. Hey, at least we're not as old as Klingman.
Yeah, it's true.
All right. Speaking of Klingman, Matt, we got a little game. We got a little game called Sweat It Out, and Kyle Klingman's going to take over. And
Okay.
All right, you ready? He said earlier he doesn't like questions, but we got to grill him. We got 5 questions hoping to make you sweat. Are you ready to play?
Not really. I didn't know this was a part of it, but let's go.
Well, it is. It is. And it's going to happen whether you like it or not, so just go with it.
Thank God.
Okay.
All right. Number 1. What Northwestern wrestler pinned his way through the NCAA Wrestling Championships?
Pinned his way through?
Yep.
Jeez. Jack Riley?
Yeah, you got it.
That's right.
Man, look at this guy. Jack Riley, 3 pins in 1931. All right.
Jeez.
Number 2, what wrestler holds the record for the most Midlands titles?
What wrestler?
Yeah.
Joe Williams?
Yep, has 10. Number 3, who played the role of Mike Sheets in the film Foxcatcher?
Jake Herbert?
Yep. Got it. Number 4,
So soft.
what popular mixed martial artist is from Broomfield, Colorado?
Oh, what's his name? Man. Oh,
It's actually not a he. I'll
he's,
give you that. Who I have is a
oh,
she,
it's
but
not a
maybe
he?
there's a he.
Oh,
No. Maybe there's a he
I
that I don't know
then.
about.
I don't know.
Her name is Kat Zingano.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got that.
Yeah. And then number 5, where did Dan Gable lose his final collegiate wrestling match?
Right next door. Welsh Reiner and McGaw Hall, Northwestern University.
Yep.
That was at Northwestern?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
1970.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll take 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
4 to 5 is good. 4 to 5 is good, especially
Wow.
since you're hesitant on the first couple.
Right? Yeah, you know.
Good.
I had
Got
to
him.
dig deep.
That's the Storniolo I know. Yeah,
1931.
What's that?
It's 1931. I didn't know we still had stats from 1931.
Kyle Klingman has stats from.
They written. Did you find that written in the inside of a cave?
It was
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Matt, man, we're kind of running down to the end of the line, but it's been a lot of fun talking with you today and shooting the breeze. Any final word from you before we let you get going?
No, you guys just let me know what weight you guys want to enter for Midlands next year. We'll send you your information, and looking forward to seeing what you guys got in the tank.
I'll be 133. So sign me up.
Kyle?
I better get down to 125 because that's my only chance of doing anything.
It's 6'2".
All right. Start cutting.
I got 20 pounds to cut. I have no chance anywhere other than that. And even then, I don't have a chance.
The first opponent's a scale,
Yeah,
so.
Maybe you'll get a good draw.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Matt, thanks so much, man. I appreciate the time, and it's always good catching up.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yep, you bet, man. Have a great day.
Bye.
All right, Matt Storniolo, head coach at Northwestern. Good catching up, and and good to hear about the update on the Midlands, that it's happening, and pretty cool that they kind of just forfeited their deposit and let the Matt man have that space for a tournament.
Yeah, I certainly didn't know the future of the Midlands, and I think that was a question mark for me and a lot of people on just what that would look like, especially since the sport is changing so fast with tournaments coming and going and adding, and you think of the Southern Scuffle coming in and kind of challenging it. So I'm glad he cleared up a lot there because that was certainly a question mark in my mind if that was going to happen. So
Yeah, yeah,
good to
absolutely.
know it
So
is.
Midlands is on, but the show is off. That's the end of it. We got Stefan Micic tomorrow, Real Woods on Wednesday. So we'll see you back here same time tomorrow and Wednesday for Kyle Klingman and Matt Storniolo. I'm Mark Bader. Have a good one. We'll see you.